Millionaire musician's incredible trumpet duel against simple girl reveals life-changing talent. Jack Reynolds stood at the entrance of Maplewood, his childhood hometown, with a mix of dread and nostalgia tightening his chest. Once, he had been the golden boy, a trumpet virtuoso dazzling crowds with notes that floated like stars in the night sky. But fame had draped a heavy shroud over his life, leading him away from the very roots that cultivated his talent. Now, at 38, he felt as lost as a leaf in autumn's breeze, wondering if he could ever find his way back to the music that once pulsed through his veins. As he strolled down Main Street, Jack couldn't help but notice the changes. The old diner where he devoured pancakes every Saturday morning now had boarded up windows. The park where kids once played was cluttered with weeds. Even the faint sounds of laughter from the past seemed to have evaporated. Could he revive that joy, or was it gone forever? He spotted the banner above the town hall, charity event to revitalize Maplewood. The irony was bitter. He left to chase grandeur, and now he was back to face the consequences of that decision. That evening, Jack attended the charity event, half-heartedly clapping as local musicians performed. Then he saw her, Emily, a spirited 16-year-old girl, her eyes sparkling with ambition. She took the stage, a young girl clutching her trumpet like a lifeline. When she played, Jack felt something stir within, a raw, beautiful melody that captured not just notes, but emotion. The crowd, many of whom had turned their backs on dreams, hung on to every sound, hearts swelling with pride and promise. He could feel their hope intangible, but fiercely present. Jack approached her later, admiration in his eyes. "You played beautifully," he said, his voice cracking. Emily smiled shyly but with fierce determination. "Thanks. I just want to show people what music can do." But that conversation struck a chord deeper than he expected. She was just a girl from a struggling family, while he was a man ravaged by lost opportunity and unfulfilled expectations. Swallowed by doubt, Jack recalled the applause from grand stages, cheers that now echoed like ghosts in his mind. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Days passed, and rumors of a spontaneous trumpet duel began to swirl through the town. Jack felt the exhilarating pull of competition, yet it was laced with anxiety. He was not just facing Emily, he was battling the specter of his former self. Could he still play like he once did? Could he keep pace with a girl who had tenacity and passion in every note? On the eve of the duel, misunderstandings simmered between families. Jack's estrangement weighed heavily. Each unspoken word between him and his parents echoed in his mind. Emily wrestled with the financial struggles of her own family, feeling the need to justify her dreams. As the date loomed closer, neither knew how much their lives would intertwine, and the stakes were rising. Would they discover the heart of music, or would the shadows of their past ruin everything? As the sun dipped below the horizon, a golden hue wrapped around Maplewood, hinting at the change that was about to unfold. Jack stood by the park, his heart racing with anticipation and dread. He could hear the faint sound of his own trumpet wailing in his mind, the notes tangled with memories of former glory. But now, words of doubt crept in like the evening chill. Was he even worthy? Emily had been practicing daily. Jack could hear the sharp, vibrant notes spilling out from her home, a haunting echo that pulled at his emotions. He found himself drawn to the sound, nurturing a flicker of hope intertwined with jealousy. She was good, really good. The juxtaposition of their circumstances was alarming. He had money and fame, yet here he was, feeling more inadequate than the simple girl who poured her heart into every note. The day of the duel arrived, and excitement buzzed through the air like electricity. The town square was buzzing with chatter and laughter. Old friends reunited, gossip flowed, and the memories of better days revived a forgotten energy in the people of Maplewood. Jack stood backstage, watching families setting up picnic blankets, faces glowing with anticipation. He caught sight of Emily, surrounded by her family, adjusting the strap on her trumpet. A flicker of her earlier confidence infused him with both dread and admiration. He could see the spark in her eyes that mirrored his younger self. But something deeper welled within him, a conflicting desire to protect her from the pressures of success. As they were called to the stage, Jack's heart hammered. He stepped forward, feeling the weight of every eye in the crowd. The familiar stage felt foreign, a landscape dotted with his past and uncertainty. Emily took her place beside him, her face a mix of excitement and nerves. She gave him a quick nod, a silent message of encouragement. 3, 2, 1 and go. The sound of the starting bell resonated in the air, and with it, the onslaught of music commenced. Jack's fingers danced over the trumpet, releasing notes he thought he had buried long ago. The warmth of the instrument felt like home, and the notes poured from him, weaving through the evening like forgotten memories reclaiming their place. Yet, in the corner of his eye, he saw Emily. Her sound was crisp and clear, each blow strong and unwavering. As the melody swirled around them, Jack started to feel life nodding once more in his chest. It wasn't just about winning anymore, it was about finding the music again, about letting the audience feel what he had long kept hidden. He glanced at Emily, who was lost in her rhythm. A realization washed over him. This wasn't a battle, it was a shared journey, but then a note slipped a little flat and out of tune. Jack felt a hot wave of panic. Memories of his past failures threatened to engulf him. Was he about to embarrass himself in front of the town that once revered him? His breath quickened, and his mind raced. Before he could think, he switched to a higher octave, desperately trying to regain control. In that same moment, Emily's eye caught his. She smiled at him, her expression effortlessly radiating encouragement. Fueled by her light, he found his footing again, pushing through the anxiety, welcoming the challenge. Together they built a crescendo of sound, the crowd captivated by the emotional whirlwind taking place on stage. It was no longer just a duel, it transformed into a powerful duet that as the last notes rang out, silence enveloped the square for a heartbeat before applause erupted, lifting the atmosphere. Jack locked eyes with Emily, both breathless and exhilarated. But beneath the excitement loomed an unspoken tension. What would happen next? And what secrets remained buried in the hearts of those who had taken part? The crowd's response faded into a distant murmur as Jack realized this was just the beginning of their revelation. What dreams awaited them beyond this moment? And as he stepped off the stage, a question hung in the air like a lingering note: could this be the start of something far greater than either of them ever expected? The crowd slowly dissipated, their laughter and chatter fading like the last notes of a song. Jack stood at the edge of the stage, still reeling from the performance. The world felt different now, alive with possibilities that had been buried for too long. He caught sight of Emily laughing with her family, the glow of triumph radiating from her. A swell of pride and nostalgia churned inside him. She had given him more than just a duet, she had reminded him of who he once was. Jack. A familiar voice broke through his thoughts. It was Marcus, his old friend and manager. He approached, a wide grin plastered on his face. Did you see that crowd? You were amazing. You still got it, man. Jack forced a smile, but the butterflies in his stomach wouldn't settle. I don't know about that, I messed up a few times. Forget about that. You reconnected with the audience. They loved it. Marcus clapped him on the shoulder with vigor. But hey, we need to talk. You need a plan moving forward. Just then, he turned to look back at Emily. She was still glowing, her family embracing her, celebrating, and he felt a strange tug in his chest. What about her? Jack's voice came out softer than he intended. Who, Emily? She was good. Really good. But this is your moment. Marcus insisted, leading him away from the stage. We have options, Jack. The record label is buzzing about you again. They want to re-sign you. The joy of that thought washed away the awkwardness of competing against Emily, the girl who had inspired something he thought was lost forever. It's not just about me anymore, Jack said, unable to shake the bond that had formed during their performance. Marcus raised a brow, confusion etched into his features. You sure about that? This is your shot at a comeback. It doesn't feel right, Jack admitted, a part of him wrestling with the idea of leaving Emily behind. I don't want to just take the spotlight back. There is something special about what we did today. Jack, you're being sentimental. This is business. You don't get this kind of opportunity every day, Marcus pressed. Maybe not. He glanced back at Emily again, their eyes catching briefly. She smiled at him, and he felt an inexplicable pull, as if the performance had forged a connection beyond words. But what if this is my chance to help her, too? To show her what she can achieve? Before Marcus could respond, the buzzing crowd around them began to hum with excitement about the next act. Jack's heart quickened again, not with fear but anticipation. He was tired of running from the truth that had plagued him for years. The fear of blending fame with friendship wouldn't suffocate him anymore. Let's talk later. Jack waved Marcus off and walked back toward the stage, where more local talent was preparing to play. He couldn't shake the idea of giving them a chance, of paying forward what had been gifted to him. As he approached Emily, time felt suspended, a sweet moment caught between past and future. You were incredible, he said, his heart racing, hope igniting in his chest. Thanks. You too, Jack. I felt the connection, she replied, her eyes shimmering with sincerity. Looking deep into her eyes, Jack knew he was ready to unveil a new path for them both. What if we worked together? Made something more out of this? Emily's gaze faltered, a mixture of surprise and consideration crossing her face. Are you serious? Absolutely. Let us create something new. Something real. The tension hung thick between them, as if the air itself vibrated with unspoken dreams. But would Emily trust him? The question lingered in his mind, a spark ready to ignite a journey neither of them anticipated. What awaited them beyond this moment of possibility? Would they dare to embrace the unknown together? Jack watched as Emily processed his proposal, her eyes flickering with uncertainty. The vibrant energy of the crowd around them faded into background noise, and all that mattered was the moment they shared. He felt vulnerable standing there, open to possibility but nervous about what it could mean for both of them. His heart beat louder than the fading applause. Seriously, Jack? You want to team up? Her voice was small but layered with hope. It surprised him how much light her words held. Yes. He said, trying to infuse confidence into his response, though his mind raced with endless scenarios. I know I've been away for too long, and I need this as much as you do. We both have something to share, something deeper than just performing. Emily contemplated his words, her brow furrowing. But what does that mean for you? You just got your shot back. Aren't you scared it might overshadow everything you've worked for? Maybe, he replied, shaking his head. But I mean it when I say it feels all wrong to step back into that life without bringing someone with me. Besides, I left for a reason, and coming back the same way won't bring me joy. It'll just remind me of what I lost. Her expression softened, and Jack could see the gears turning in her mind. They shared a moment of silence, where unspoken fears and dreams hung heavy in the air, bridging the distance between them. What do you have in mind? Emily finally asked, a flicker of excitement blossoming in her eyes. Jack took a breath, feeling the surge of hope flow through him. We finish writing our song. You showed me a glimpse of something real today. Imagine if we take that energy, add our stories, and create something powerful together. We could record it, hit social media, tell our story. The words tumbled out, fueled by a rush of adrenaline concealing his apprehension. We can encourage artists like us to leap into the spotlight, inspire others to pursue their dreams. I love that, she breathed, her words lighting a spark in Jack's chest. But what if it doesn't go well? I mean, what if the song flops? The song won't flop if we put our hearts into it. We can't let fear dictate our chances. Besides, what if it resonates with just one person? Wouldn't that be worth it? Emily pondered, her eyes reflecting the energy that vibrated around them. Jack could almost see a shift inside her, a blending of hope and determination. Okay, she finally said, her smile lighting up the gloom of uncertainty. Let us do it, Jack. Let us take this leap together. Just as Jack began to feel that sweet rush of adrenaline wash over him, a voice cut through the excitement. Hey, Emily. A tall figure approached, and Jack's heart sank. It was Jeff, the local DJ who'd been framing himself as Emily's biggest supporter since they hit it off earlier in the night. He flashed a charming smile, completely oblivious to the vibrant turn in Jack and Emily's shared moment. Great performance tonight, Jeff said, his eyes glistening. He turned towards Jack. And you, my man, were insane. But just thought I'd remind you, Emily was the star of the show too. His praise felt casual, but Jack felt the jab. Jack watched as Emily shifted nervously, and for a moment, Jack felt an insidious doubt creep back in. Would she want to pursue a partnership with him, or was it easier for her to fall into the safety of Jeff's admiration? Well, thank you. Emily said, though she hesitated, her gaze flickering between the two of them. Jack felt the tension building again. As Jeff chattered on about the next talent showcase, Jack took a deep breath, steeling himself. Emily, can we talk later? Jack's voice was steady, wrapping around her with a hint of urgency. Of course, she replied, her eyes reflecting a mix of encouragement and sadness as she slipped back into the whirlwind buzzing around them. Great! Jeff exclaimed, turning back to them, blissfully unaware. We'll work together, then. All of us. In that moment, Jack's pulse quickened. Yeah, he said, willing strength into his tone, although something inside him tugged with unease. All of us. But as Emily stepped away, Jack felt a shadow of doubt creeping back in. Had he just opened a door to something unimaginable, or had he hitched himself to a path that might risk everything he was trying to rebuild? Where would this partnership take them, and would it shine brighter or shatter under pressure? Jack leaned against a wall, the vibrant music and laughter from the crowd feeling miles away. His heart raced, each beat echoing his doubts. As Emily burst back into the scene, animated and caught up in Jeff's latest proclamation, Jack couldn't shake the gnawing uncertainty in his gut. She was smiling. That was what mattered, right? But was she truly with him or merely drawn in by Jeff's charm? Look who's here. The prodigy himself. Jeff clapped Jack on the shoulder, breaking through his spiraling thoughts. Jack forced a grin, though it felt more like a mask than a genuine expression. Let us just say I'm trying to keep up with your star power, Jack replied, attempting to pivot the conversation back to lighter territory. Emily chuckled, and for a moment, it felt like old times, with the three of them just enjoying the night before. But the effortless camaraderie was always going to be tempered by the tension. Jack noticed a flicker of hesitation cross Emily's face, and his heart lurched. She was caught in the middle once again. He wanted to reassure her, but how could he, when his own confidence wavered under the spotlight's glow? Jack's thoughts spiraled. What if Emily leaned toward the safety of Jeff's familiar compliments rather than stepping into the unknown with him? Emily, we need to grab a drink or something, Jeff chimed in, oblivious to the turbulence brewing beneath the surface. You should tell everyone how we're gonna blow them away in the next showcase. Jack's stomach twisted. Actually, he interjected, a surge of resolve sharpening his voice, Emily and I were just getting into our plans. We are collaborating on a song, and we believe it's gonna be something special. Emily blinked, her surprise clear, then she quickly nodded. Yes. Jack and I have something in mind that's really meaningful. Oh, for sure. Jeff waved a dismissive hand. But don't forget, it's about performing at the showcase, right? I mean, we all know how easily crowds fall for hype. Jack clenched his jaw, heat rushing to his face. This guy really didn't get it. It wasn't just about performance. It was deeper, it was about connection. But maybe he was projecting his own insecurities. Yeah, Emily stated, her voice firm now, which is why I want this song to be authentic to represent us. The words hung in the air like music notes searching for a melody, and Jack felt a spark of hope. Jeff raised an eyebrow, surprise flickering across his face. Well, if that's what you're both after, he trailed off, sounding less enthusiastic. Jack saw the glimmer of doubt flash across Emily's face once more. After a few minutes of awkward chatter, Jeff finally excused himself, leaving Jack and Emily alone again. The pressure surged back into the space, a bubble of anticipation and fear. Did I overstep? Jack asked, fearing he might be pushed too hard. I didn't mean to embarrass you. No. Not at all. Emily's reassurance filled him with warmth. She stepped closer, her presence calming the energy between them. I want to make this work. But I also don't want to step on anyone's toes. I get that. His voice was barely above a whisper. But this is our chance, Emily. Don't let anyone else dictate what this can be. She searched his eyes, and Jack could see the fight within her, the determination to break free from the pressures surrounding them. You're right. I want to take this leap. For us. Just then, the crowd erupted in cheers again, and they both turned towards the stage where newcomers were getting ready to perform. Jack felt themselves being swept back into the energy, but now it was different. As they shared a brief smile, something shifted in the air, a recognition that they were on the cusp of something electric. But before they could delve deeper into their plans, a familiar face stepped onto the stage, Allison, an influential talent scout known for her keen eye for raw talent. Jack's heart raced anew, she could be the key to everything they wanted. The lights dimmed as Allison began speaking, and Jack's breath hitched. What would she see? What would her presence mean for them? As she spoke of opportunities and dreams, Jack caught Emily's eye. They would have to solidify their vision, make it clear their bond was authentic, that it wasn't about accolades but about the music itself. The way forward stretched ahead, but uncertainties lingered just beneath. Would they find the courage to pursue their dreams despite the noise around them? And as Allison's voice rang out, Jack wondered, would their song capture what they truly felt, or would all this excitement lead to an unexpected twist? As Allison's voice washed over the crowd, Jack felt as if he was standing at the edge of a cliff, peering into the swirling mists below. She was outlining plans for the showcase, her words strung together like an intricate melody, a melody that promised opportunities and challenge. Jack's mind raced, thoughts darting like music notes in a symphony, that he stole a quick glance at Emily, trying to gauge her reaction. Her eyes sparkled with a mix of excitement and fear, mirroring the tumult of emotions churning inside him. This was their moment, but it was also so much bigger than them. The pressure of Allison's presence, the possibility of being seen and judged was electric, yet overwhelming. And now, Allison declared, her eyes sweeping over the audience, let us welcome our next performers to the stage. The crowd erupted again, and Jack's heart sank. Were they really ready for this? Just then, Emily took his hand, a small, reassuring squeeze that sent warmth coursing through him. We've got this, she whispered, her confidence fueling his own. Yeah, we do, he replied, feeling a flicker of courage ignite within him. As the next act took the stage, Jack inhaled deeply, letting the music fill his lungs. It was a reminder of why they were here, to share something real, something that could resonate with those listening. He could already envision their song, the chords, the lyrics, everything perfect and raw. Jack. Emily's voice broke through his thoughts again, that he turned to find her looking at him, her expression serious yet full of hope. What do we want them to feel when we perform? It was a deep question, one that instantly severed through his worries. I want them to feel the connection we have, the truth behind the music, he said, his voice steady. I want them to know that the way you make me feel matters. That this is about us, our journey." Emily nodded, her eyes glistening. "Exactly. If we can tap into that genuine feeling, it might just work." But as the performance wound down on stage, Jack caught Jeff's lingering gaze in the crowd. He was applauding, but a smirk tugged at his lips, like he knew something Jack didn't. With a flash of unease, Jack realized that Jeff's influence extended beyond the stage, it seeped into their world, and he didn't want that. "Let us promise each other something," Jack said suddenly, the urge to voice his fears overwhelming him. "No matter what happens, we stick together. We own this moment together." "Always," Emily said, squeezing his hand again, this time more tightly. Just then, the stage lights blazed brighter as the current performers took their final bows, and applause roared through the venue. Jack glanced back at Allison, her smile engaging yet enigmatic. What was running through her mind? "Next up, we have a special surprise," Allison announced, energy bubbling through her voice. "A bit of a challenge for our aspiring artists. A duet showdown. The audience will decide which pair stays in the running for the showcase." Jack's breath caught in his throat. A challenge? He turned to Emily, whose face was painted with shock. "What do you think? Should we? What if we don't make it?" she asked, the doubt creeping back in. "Or what if we do?" Jack countered, his heart pounding at the prospect. They would either rise through this storm or fall together. Either way, it was a chance to let their music testify for them. He took a deep breath and nodded toward her, determination taking hold. "Let us do it. For us." As they moved together toward the stage, the crowd's cheers echoed in Jack's ears, drowning out his doubts. With every step, they stepped away from their fears and closer to their dreams. But just before they reached the stage, Jack saw Jeff's eyes darken. He sensed the competition. What lengths would he go to hold on to his spotlight? As they prepared for the inevitable clash of music and talent, Jack felt electricity in the air, undeniable and blaring. What would the challenge reveal about them? How much could they truly risk? With everything hanging in the balance, Jack took Emily's hand once more, ready to leap into the unknown together. Would they break through the noise, or would doubt drown them beneath its weight? The bright lights engulfed them as they stepped onto the stage, the audience's energy wrapping around Jack like a warm blanket, yet each moment felt heavier than the last. He felt the weight of their gazes, 1,000 eyes locked onto them, anticipating the duo that would either shine or stumble in this showdown. As they took their positions, Jack noticed Emily's face, the way her lips pressed together in concentration. He squeezed her hand one last time, grounding them both in that fleeting moment, the world outside their music fading into the background. With each heartbeat, his own nerves danced a frenetic tempo, but just looking at her inspired a melody of hope. "Let us show them what we've got," he murmured, searching her eyes. "Together," she whispered back, her voice tinged with both determination and a hint of fear. The announcer's voice echoed in the amphitheater, and Jack's stomach twisted. "And now, let us welcome our first duet." With a sweeping gesture, the spotlight fell directly on them, illuminating their faces. Suddenly, the cheers transformed into a collective breath held in anticipation, and time seemed to stand still. Jack pulled out his guitar, the familiar way to comfort to him as he strummed a few chords, calling out a harmony of adventure and love. A small jolt of electricity surged through him. The music was their lifeline, their shared existence translated into vibrant notes. Emily joined in, her voice soaring like a bird breaking free from a cage. The melody intertwined, a perfect blend, and he knew then that they couldn't hold back. Each note was a volley of emotions, echoing secrets and promises they made to one another. But then, something strange happened. Midway through their song, Jack spotted Jeff backstage, his arms crossed tightly, a scowl etched on his face. That smirk had twisted into a frown, and Jack could almost hear the thoughts ricocheting in his head. Would he swoop in to ruin their moment? He felt his confidence waver but held on to Emily's melody, letting it guide him back. The chorus hit, and he found a rhythm again, pouring every ounce of his heart into the performance. Emily's voice wrapped around him, the harmony melding together into a crescendo of unity. The audience swayed, lost in the sound, and for those fleeting moments it felt like they were the only two people in the universe. Then, just as they reached the climax, something unexpected happened. The crowd erupted into applause, but Jack perceived a shift in the audience's energy. Eyes fluttered in Jeff's direction, murmurs filled the air. Was he planning a disruption? Jack's brows furrowed in response. What game was he playing now? As the last notes faded, and the applause resounded like a thunderous wave, Jack's heart raced at the thought of what might come next. Would they remain in the running, or would Jeff's meddling derail everything? Wait for it, Emily whispered, her eyes reflecting equal parts excitement and dread. She was right. The results were coming, and they needed to be ready. The announcer's voice sliced through the buzz, a razor-edged promise. And now, we'll reveal the audience's choice. Who will move forward in the showcase? Will it be our talented duet or the competition? Jack's grip tightened around Emily's hand as they stood waiting, hearts pounding like drums. What if it wasn't he enough? But just then, he remembered the vow they'd made to each other. No matter the outcome, they had faced this together. For a moment, each heartbeat felt like an eternity. The crowd's excitement drummed in his ears. He dared to hope, and yet, just as the suspense thickened, a shadow crept from backstage, tugging at Jack's attention. What if Jeff had other plans? The announcer's final words hung in the air, a fragile promise waiting to be fulfilled. What choice would fate make for them now? The announcer's voice hung in the air, taut with anticipation. And the winner of this round. As he paused, allowing the electric silence to dance between the audience and the stage. Jack's heart thudded erratically, his stomach twisting at every second that dragged on. Emily squeezed his hand tighter, her nails digging in just a bit. They wouldn't put us through this if we didn't have a chance, she whispered, trying to inject some calm into their anxious reality. Right, Jack murmured, though he couldn't shake the gnawing feeling in his gut. The announcer leaned into the microphone, his gaze sweeping over the crowd. And it is the talented duo, Jack and Emily. A wave of applause erupted, drowning out their shock, and for a fleeting moment, it felt surreal. They were moving forward. He and Emily had made their mark. It was victory wrapped in disbelief, but the reality set in as they turned toward the crowd, their smiles beaming. Did we actually? Jack exclaimed, caught in the rush of adrenaline. Emily's laughter rang out, a sweet sound that dispelled their earlier fears. We did. We really did. In that moment, they celebrated, their hearts still racing. The audience's cheers felt like an embrace, thrilling and warm. But behind that joy, Jack caught a glimpse of Jeff still lurking in the shadows. His expression was dark, eyes narrow with an unsettling intensity. The sense of victory was short-lived as dread crept back into Jack's thoughts. What would Jeff do next? As they exited the stage, the weight of their performance began to settle, mingling excitement with uncertainty. What now? Jack asked, looking to Emily for guidance. The residual thrill of their success coupled with the impending challenge created a whirlwind in his chest. Let's just stay focused, Emily replied with determination. One step at a time. We have to plan for the next round. Jack nodded, trying to shake off the feeling that lingered after seeing Jeff. Still, the exhilarating rush of their performance flickered in him like a flame. He was motivated, adaptive. Whatever Jeff had planned, he and Emily would face it together. Backstage, the atmosphere buzzed with anticipation as other contestants loomed. Jack caught snippets of conversations and laughter, but his gaze kept drifting, searching for Jeff. And then, he saw him, cornered by two other contestants. They debated vigorously, and Jack knew they were discussing the outcome of the showcase. Jack's breath held tightly in his chest. Emily could sense his discomfort. Jack, don't let him get to you. Focus on your music. That's all that matters. She believed in him, and that belief wrapped around him like a lifeline, tethering him to hope. Just as they turned to walk away, they overheard a comment that sent chills down Jack's spine. "Just wait until everyone sees what he has planned for the next round. They won't stand a chance," a voice said, laced with malice. "Who are they talking about?" Emily whispered, her eyes wide with concern. Jack's gut twisted again. They might have won this battle, but it was starting to feel like they hadn't won at all. "Let us find our footing before we worry about what others are doing," Jack said, forcing a smile. But the seeds of worry were planted deep. A part of him wanted to charge in and confront Jeff right then and there, another part cautioned against it. "I'll keep an eye on him," he promised Emily, resolve strengthening. With so many layers to this competition, they needed to dig deeper into their own strengths. As they prepared for the next round, the world shifted around them. Now they have to dig deeper than ever before, both in talent and heart. Jack looked at Emily, determination reflected in her eyes, but doubt continued to creep in. How would they handle whatever Jeff had waiting? The stakes were higher than ever, and Jack realized they were caught in a game far more complex than they had ever anticipated. He took a deep breath, knowing this was only the beginning. Would they be strong enough to endure the trials ahead? With that thought, the uneasy tension hung in the air, a thin line stretching between them and the uncertainty of what lay ahead. What lay hidden in Jeff's plans? Jack and Emily stood in the shadows of the backstage area, the pulse of excitement still thrumming in their veins. Every cheer from the crowd outside felt like an echo of their victory, but Jack couldn't shake the unease bubbling beneath the surface. The fear of what lay ahead loomed larger than their moment of triumph. "Let us really think about our next performance," Emily suggested, her brow furrowed with concentration. "We need to collaborate and find something that makes us stand out even more." "Yeah, absolutely," Jack agreed, though his mind was elsewhere, wandering back to Jeff's chilling comment. What exactly did he have planned? The uncertainty twisted in his chest, making it hard to focus. They found a quiet corner where they could practice away from the noise. Emily pulled out her guitar, the familiar sound of strings being tuned sending a wave of comfort through Jack. It reminded him of simpler days, just them, their melodies, and the thrill of creating magic together. "Let us work on that new song we talked about," Emily said, her eyes lighting up. "You got some fresh lyrics brewing?" Yeah," Jack stammered, his mind racing. He grabbed his notebook, but as he flipped through the pages, the words blurred together. All he could think about was Jeff. "Actually, I was thinking maybe we could adjust a few things to make it more fierce. More dazzling." Emily peered at him, the edges of her smile fading slightly. "Fierce sounds good, but we don't want to lose our sound. Remember what makes us, us." "You're right," Jack sighed, feeling a twinge of frustration mixed with love for her wisdom. "I'm just worried about Jeff. I can't help but feel like he's cooking up something nasty. Let us create something strong enough that nothing can shake us," she encouraged, her voice steady. "We can't let him ruin what we have." Jack nodded, feeling more resolved. Emily was right, they had to rise above the drama and keep their focus on their music. They began to play, letting the notes flow between them like lifeblood. The harmonies blended beautifully, lifting Jack's spirits, filling him with hope and determination. For a brief moment, he let everything else fade away, losing himself in their rhythm and melody. But as they finished the song, the break was short-lived. Suddenly, the backstage area felt too small, too claustrophobic. They needed air. "Let us go outside. We need a breather," Jack suggested. Once outside, the cool evening air wrapped around them like a soothing balm. They could still hear the excited chatter from the audience and the distant sounds of contestants preparing. But now, it felt different. It felt alive. "Look," Emily said, pointing to the stars beginning to twinkle above. "It's like they're cheering for us." Jack squinted up at the night sky, a sense of peace washing over him. It reminded him that there was a vastness out there beyond the competition, beyond Jeff's plans. Their dreams could still soar, but just as they found a moment of calm, a figure appeared on the edge of the lighting. It was Jeff, standing with a group of others, smirking. Jack's stomach twisted at the sight of him. "Hey, you two lovebirds," Jeff called out, his tone mocking. "Hope you're gearing up for a real show. You're gonna need it." Jack felt his heart race, the sense of unease igniting into anger. Emily stepped closer to him, her presence a calming force. "What is he up to?" Jack whispered, tension flickering in the air. "Whatever it is, we'll face it together," Emily replied firmly, determination burning in her eyes, but as they stood there, Jeff's laughter echoed, sinking deep into Jack's bones. There was no denying it now, they were caught in a storm, and the only way out was forward. With fear and resolve battling within him, Jack took a deep breath, glancing at Emily. "Whatever he has planned, we need to be ready." He didn't know how or when, but he was certain of one thing: this was far from over. Did they have what it took to make it through? And what else was Jeff plotting? The uncertainty loomed larger than ever, and a wave of urgency washed over him. The anticipation thickened in the air as Jack and Emily exchanged glances filled with unspoken determination. They had fought hard to reach this point, and together, they would find a way to overcome whatever challenge lay ahead. As they prepared for the next round of the showcase, Jack couldn't help but replay the moments they had shared on stage, the thrill of their duet electrifying the crowd. He could still feel the warmth of their connection, that honest melody resonating in his heart. He caught sight of Emily practicing her scales nearby, her face lit with determination. The way she poured herself into every note reminded him of why they had come together in the first place, to create something real. "Let us do this," he said, a newfound fire igniting in his chest. Emily looked up, her eyes sparkling, the same thrill reflecting back at him. "Absolutely, let us show them what we can really do." With renewed focus, they dove back into their song, experimenting with rhythms and lyrics, letting their hearts guide every decision. They bared their souls in the music, hoping to inspire not just the audience, but each other as well. Hours flew by as they nurtured not just a song, but the seeds of a partnership that felt destined for greatness. In the shadows, doubt loomed, yet they pushed forward. As the stage calls loomed nearer, Jack felt a wave of nerves cascade through him. But just as it crested, Emily took his hand, squeezing it tightly. "We've got this," she assured him. Together, they would navigate whatever storm Jeff concocted. Finally, they were called back on stage. As the lights flared, Jack's heart raced with exhilaration. This was their moment, and they were ready to seize it. Taking their positions, they felt the energy of the audience surge, every cheer, every heart in the crowd waiting for them to shine. "Ready?" Emily asked, her voice steady yet light, cradling hope. "Always," Jack replied, smiling back at her. As they began their performance, the lyrics flowed from them like a river, uncontained, open, honest, and filled with raw emotion. The crowd was enraptured, moving with the music, their spirits rising in harmony with every note. Jack's doubts melted away, replaced by the bright connection that pulsed through his veins. He had finally come home, but just as the performance reached its crescendo, Jack spotted Jeff again, lurking backstage, his expression tinted with malice and dark intentions. It pulled at Jack's focus, yet Emily's presence anchored him back into their creation. He would not let doubt spoil this moment. This wasn't about competition, it was about the connection forged in their hearts, their stories singing together as one. They poured their passion into every note, the audience basking in the energy radiating off the stage. As they finished, silence hung for a heartbeat before thunderous applause erupted. Jack and Emily stood tall, beaming, hearts swelling with pride. They had turned their vulnerability into a powerful anthem, and the crowd adored it. In that electric sensation of accomplishment, Jack turned to Emily. "I know it's been hard, everything with Jeff, the pressure. But we did it." Before Emily could respond, the announcer's voice cut through the cheers. "Ladies and gentlemen, let us hear it for our talented duo, Jack and Emily. You will be moving forward." The crowd exploded with applause, and Jack wrapped his arms around Emily, pulling her into a joyous hug. She laughed, her smile radiant, and for a moment, all worries about the future melted away in the warmth of their victory. but as they stepped off stage, Jack recalled Jeff's calculating gaze. He could sense a storm brewing. Would Jeff's plans mar this hard-won victory? It was then that Jack made a resolution. Together they would navigate any pitfalls that came their way. The bond forged through music was a lifeline he refused to let be drowned out. "Let us stay together in this," Jack declared, eyes shining. "We won't let anything tear us apart. Not now. I wouldn't have it any other way," Emily affirmed, her voice steady, rising with wonder. They were on the edge of something transformative. As they prepared for the next chapter, a new dawn broke over Maplewood, one filled with hope and music that would not only create waves but heal and inspire others. Jack found a renewed sense of purpose again, all thanks to Emily. With her by his side, nothing could dim their light. The future beckoned, humming softly with the promise of dreams realized in a melody that would echo far beyond Maplewood. Together, they were ready for the symphony that lay ahead, confident that the challenges would only further strengthen their bond. This was their moment, their awakening, and it all began to stir within the heart of the music they had created together. The journey had just begun, and they would face whatever came, hand in hand. Your moment to shine has arrived. You need to subscribe now to the channel so you won't miss our next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the magic alive. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Let us celebrate together. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting our journey through these actions.